change the story. Once upon a time, I heard of a time when a guest was at a destination spa and she was sitting in the salon. She was filing her fingernails as she was getting a pedicure. And while she was sitting there, she seemed fine. But as soon as the pedicure was over, she looked down at her feet. She looked at the esthetician and she had a nail file in her hand and she threw it at the esthetician and she said, "This is the worst pedicure I've ever had in my entire life." And then she walked away. She more like stormed away. So in that moment, we have thoughts about this person, about this guest. Maybe this guest is frustrated. Maybe this guest really didn't like her esthetician at all. Maybe the guest was feeling a little spoiled that day or entitled. Or maybe the guest was somebody that always gets her way by being bossy and grumpy. So we make a lot of judgments. We put a lot of labels on what happens in a situation like this. So then what if I were to tell you that they had found out, the staff had found out later on, that this particular guest had just found out the day before that she had breast cancer. And instead of asking if she might be able to cancel her reservation, she felt stuck with the reservation because she had already been told in the past that it was non-cancelable and non-refundable. So she felt like she was stuck having this pedicure. So when we find out that this guest actually has breast cancer and they're dealing with some very big things, I think it helps us all to generate empathy in a situation where otherwise we might have had a hard time generating empathy. When I think about that situation, it reminds me of so many times when I have communicated with a guest or a staff member and the way that perhaps they responded to something didn't make sense to me. And instead it made me frustrated or confused, or I ruminated on it and I would mutter while I'm doing something else and going, "What was that all about? I don't understand. What was her problem?" And then when you think about it, you realize, oh, that had nothing to do with me. And now that I know, I'm able to be more empathetic to this person. Social psychologists will tell you, though, that if you're having a hard time generating empathy for someone, this is a great trick or a technique that you can use to get to find the empathy that you need for that person so that you can really manage your own emotions about it and not make it about you. So changing the story means that you make up a story about what might have otherwise happened in that situation when you don't know what's going on. So let's say that you have a guest that walks up to you and they say something like, "Hey, I need to cancel my dining reservation for tomorrow night. I heard that place was a dump and I want no part of it." So that is a situation where we might have to change the story a little bit. This is not about us making a bad recommendation. It might not even be about the restaurant making a bad recommendation. It might be about perhaps a business deal that didn't go very well. And because it happened in the restaurant, then it became a different situation. Just as an example. So if I change the story to that, then I put my brain in a more problem-solving mode instead of trying to uncover what happened, what did we do wrong, what could we have done better. We just have to solve the problem in that moment. So sometimes it involves us asking a few more questions, digging a little bit deeper, but it also involves us being able to be the steady-handed problem solver again, to stay calm. So the next time somebody challenges you because their behavior doesn't make any sense or the words they're saying don't make any sense and they seem to be taking it out on you, change the story to something that creates empathy or a feeling of empathy for that person. I think you'll find that you are far more equipped to be able to solve the problem and also more equipped to be standing alongside of the guest in fixing that issue.